I could drink this post-workout. Like, 260-pound man. I'm comfortable in saying I would drink this plant protein post-workout.
Welcome to PricePlow.
What's up, PricePlow Nation, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Ben. I'm the co-host of PricePlow. But if you're not, you probably remember me covering the beta sample for Nutrex's plant protein a couple weeks ago. So I ran through those beta samples. As you probably know, that video was an initial reaction to the flavors. The supplement facts panel had just come out. We talked briefly with the science team from Nutrex. They gave us some teasers or ideas on it. But that was the first time I got my hands on the product. It had been maybe an hour after I'd even really seen the supplement facts panel. And it was just kind of my initial stuff. So after running through the beta samples, getting a whole tub of it, and getting to spend a little bit of time taking it. Remember, guys, the nature of my job is I can't spend my whole month taking this product, but I can take it in between a few other whey proteins. I'm ready to kind of come back, give you guys my full, in-depth, final thoughts on the product. So without further ado, let's jump right in and talk about what I thought about taking natural plant protein from Nutrex over the last couple weeks. So as a little bit of a recap, Nutrex contacted us. They were like, look, we want to do natural. We see the trend, but we want to do it for athletes. And we want to do it a little bit different than anyone else has done before in this industry. So a couple of the objectives of a plant protein were to create something that people who had obviously digestive issues with dairy could look at, but also a product that was going to be a full amino acid profile, creating a complete protein, and also be easily digestible. So not just something that's, not dairy, but something that is going to be easy to digest, easy to absorb, and effective for athletes. So one of the problems there is that you have to select a few different proteins to make that amino acid profile. So they actually went with sunflower protein, pea protein, brown rice protein, and pumpkin seed protein. Now, two of those proteins, being the pumpkin seed protein and the sunflower seed protein, are both smooth protein from Compound Solutions. We're a huge fan of Compound Solutions here at PricePlow. So kudos to you guys for using those products from that company. A couple other things that were added in. The C8 Vantage helps with the smoothness of the protein, but also brings some MCTs in, healthy fats for you. And the flavoring system, which you see at the bottom of the ingredients, is actually derived from their iso protein, which is one of the best tasting proteins, best tasting isolates. You're going to see it on our top 5 isolates video coming out soon. So, as you probably saw from the beginning of the video, I absolutely loved the cinnamon cookie. It was my favorite flavor out of the 3. It by far goes leaps and bounds ahead of other plant proteins that I've tried. I've tried a lot of plant proteins in my day. So one of the things that I wanted to kind of get away from was not just talking about the flavor of the protein. So to get that out of the way, chocolate and vanilla were both great. They're solid. They're staples in the system. You have to have a chocolate and vanilla. Some people want to stick to those, and I'll tell you guys, the chocolate, I could tell it was a plant protein. It wasn't bad. The vanilla was great. I'd have no problem taking those. If I had a digestive issue, if I didn't want to have dairy, if for whatever reason I had a dietary restriction and I needed a plant protein, I'd be happy to take those products. But the cinnamon cookie, I want to take it, right? So there's a difference between being like, oh, this works for me, and then this product was like, I ended the video with saying, guys, you gotta send me some of this because it's that good. Now, one of the things that I didn't actually talk about in the original video, which I was kicking myself for just constantly afterwards, was for not talking about how they sweeten this. Now, it is a natural protein, so you'd be thinking, oh god, stevia. I hate stevia. It's got that horrible bite in the back of my tongue. I don't want to try that. I don't want to drink that every day. Post-workout, I want something sweet that picks me back up, even if it isn't actually sugar. I want to taste something that tastes good. But what's really unique about this is they didn't actually use any stevia. You're going to drink it and you're like, wow, there's no stevia bite. That's because there's no stevia. They use monk fruit to flavor this, which is, it's not anything really new or crazy, but the fact that they flavored sunflower protein, pea protein, brown rice protein, and pumpkin seed protein, sorry for that spit, with monk fruit is impressive. It's smooth, tastes great, and the flavoring is pretty awesome. One thing they did tell us was that simple flavors, like just chocolate, just vanilla, are hard to flavor with plants. So it's got to be like with something else. So they did the vanilla caramel. I think it's a German chocolate. So the combinations kind of mask the gritty nature or the different plant tastes that come through. Moving on to the actual function of the product, I was fortunate enough to be able to get on Skype and talk with the science team from Nutrex right before I tried the product. And one of the things I asked them is, I've run into with other companies with plant proteins being told, if you're using this for recovery or an athletic purpose, you might want to look at using 1.5 scoops, 2 scoops in place of 1 scoop. And one of the things for me is like, when I count a macronutrient, I want to count that it's that macronutrient, right? If I'm getting 20 grams of protein, I want to know that that counts as 20 grams of protein. I don't want to have to worry, like, is the amino acid profile sufficient? Am I deficient in a leucine, whatever? Like, I don't have to worry about it. So I asked them, is this comparable to a whey protein? Is this effective for sports purposes? They said, listen, you take 1 scoop of this, you get 20 grams of protein. You're getting 20 grams of protein, and it's comparable to any other sports protein out there. So I was super happy to know that, well, this is coming from different sources. I consume a lot of beef, a lot of eggs, and whey protein. While this is coming from a different source, I don't have to worry. It's high quality, and it works for me. So going into it, I felt a lot better about that kind of stuff. Now, I finished the beta sample. I went through a bunch of scoops of this, and I couldn't tell you that I had any really noticeable differences, which is good to me. I already consume a lot of protein, so swapping the whey over for the plant protein, I didn't feel like I wasn't recovering as much. I didn't feel like there was any lack in power, recovery, anything that you would see from protein. If anything, I saw less inflammation, which would make sense. But being as a person that has a very, very strong stomach, I don't really have many issues with digesting things like dairy or even like a lot of processed foods. My stomach really doesn't mind too much. When I was using this more often, I thought I might have been missing a little bit of bloat. Like I might have come down in inflammation a little bit, but nothing crazy, nothing ridiculous. I'm not saying I lost 5 pounds or anything. It was absolutely effective for me. It's obviously not something that I can quantify. It's not like a pre-workout where I can tell you the actual difference in energy for myself. Taking this product didn't make me insanely stronger or anything, but it replaced my whey protein effectively. I did not have any lapses in performance, and I'm overall extremely happy with the product. It kind of comes back to what I was saying about the flavor. There are products that you are happy with taking, that you were like, okay, that fits into my schedule, that fits into my regimen, it makes sense. Then there are flavors like this that you enjoy and you want to have in your life. So I wouldn't necessarily tell people, hey, that whey protein is great. You should really be trying out this plant protein. But what I would say is that if you have a dietary restriction, if you are considering removing dairy from your diet, if you would like to try out a product that does not have whey protein in it, this should be your first choice. Look for Nutrex's plant protein. I'd say cinnamon cookies is my favorite. That's what I would tell you to go for. But all three flavors were absolutely solid. And yeah. So for all of your questions about Nutrex, you can go to PricePlow.com/Nutrex. It's got all of our news, reviews, interviews, price comparisons, everything available for you there. For anything else, feel free to comment below, ask me any questions about the product. I'd be happy to talk to you about it. Otherwise, thanks so much, guys. This is Ben, co-host of PricePlow. Have a great day.
Welcome to PricePlow.